So you need to have a little bit of attachment to the second thumb. That is not in your palm.
And the second one is, would you tell me what's the difference between a very strong aspiration and attachment, and how strong is not over strong?
Okay. For the beginners like us, very difficult to differentiate. But here, the bodhisattva, the practice of bodhisattva, aspiration, it has to have an element of wishing for enlightenment. Then eventually it cannot be the ordinary attachment. Because ordinary attachment is something to do with making your life more comfortable. The enlightenment is different, so it has to have that element.
Rinpoche, I would like to ask a question. How does the Sangha help in walking towards enlightenment? What is the difference between the outside society and the Sangha? What kind of support system it offers?
Oh, very big. It's like a club. Really, it's a club. People who think same thing, who has the same aim, who has the same view, fundamental view, who has the same conduct on that level. One. And on the higher level, when maybe I didn't explain this properly, the Sangha, the ultimate Sangha is actually none other than the Nirodha, that basically is the realization of all the sublime beings who are not fully enlightened but on the way to the enlightenment, such as the 10 Bhumi Bodhisattvas, such as the first Bhumi Bodhisattvas, even those who are on the path of application, Arhats, never returner, once returner, stream winner, all of these, their realization is the ultimate Sangha.
Thank you.
So it's a bit like model, a bit like a model, right condition.
Thank you.
Thank you for the teaching, Rinpoche. This morning I saw a dog on the street, and he was fixed, frozen still, looking at this juicy red meat on the table that someone was preparing for sale, and it was like a kind of meditation. He was as still as I get in meditation, just completely still, completely eyes not moving, open, just like that, right? And I was thinking that the difference between me and the dog is that the dog doesn't see himself being fixed on the meat. He's just seeing the meat. And that just the way I can see the dog and think, oh, this is a metaphor for me, for my own learning for meditation. In meditation, I'm like the dog, but not exactly the dog, because I can see myself fixed or stuck.
Yeah. This
right?
is what I was telling you earlier. Meditation without the vow, or actually I should say meditation without the view, or the vow of taking some kind of triple. When you take refuge to the triple gem, then by and large you are accepting a view, right? Without that, then meditation, I was telling you, it is just a fixation actually. Concentration and fixation has not so much difference. Like that dog, one pointedly, without any distraction, looking at the red meat. We can one pointedly looking at or concentrating on our air going in and out from our nostrils. In fact, that's more of a useless than red meat. The red meat you can eat. The air going in and out from your nose.
So sometimes my mind is thinking this way, like, okay, I'm the dog. That's enough to see. I'm the dog. That's enough. I'm the dog. That's enough. Like just to, just keep telling myself, okay, that's enough to know I'm the dog. You know what I mean?
This part I didn't know, but I don't know, but actually, this part I don't know what you were talking about.
Just to be aware, if I'm aware that, just that I'm aware that of this, should I just try to go back to being aware of the view, or to be aware of, the view or the intention, or like instead of getting stuck on being stuck?
All of that. You have to sort of develop gradually.
Okay, thank you.
May I speak in Marseille?
Yes, of course.
I have a question that also have a confession and a story.
Okay.
The story is, there is a monk, and it's not a Tibetan monk, so it's okay with you guys. It's a Vietnamese monk, so you can do things. And then he asked me a question. One day he met a beautiful lady, young lady, and he fell in love. So he asked me, is that the attachment that I should be attached to? Or should I go ahead, get out, marry her, have to hold, and to love and to respect, and most importantly, to worship her, because I meditate on it. And I found that I feel that in the past life, I was a wandering dog, a stray dog. And she took me in, and she nourished me, and she gave me a beautiful life. And she also teaching me, so I become now, somehow, with my karma, I'm now a monk. So I wanted to marry her, and to not only to love, but to worship her, and to pay off her deed, so that I can wear off my karma. Now, if I don't do that, and I detach it, my karma will then attach to me for maybe it happen next life and the life after that.
I see.
So I have a confession. That's the story. The confession is, I feel sometimes the same. I do not meet a guy that I wanted to give up my vow, but I do love my daughter, and I do love my children. I do love my dog. And I feel as though with my dog, the karma will wear off when they die. My daughter karma with me will wear off when she say, Mom, I can stand you. And then my grandson, the karma will wear off when he said that he doesn't have the time for me. So that's the confession. The question that he asked me, I told him that I could not answer because I don't have enough education to make the educated guess. So I will ask my teacher. Should he marry the women, wear off his karma, or should he practice detachment, so that eventually?
This actually, I can answer this. I guess. Kind of relatively maybe easily, but you have actually opened up quite a big subject. The understanding of the karma is really okay. Teaching karma is much more difficult than teaching emptiness. First of all, I want to tell you that teaching karma is much more difficult than teaching emptiness. One, your story and your question is a very good example, because basically there are three religions, maybe broadly speaking. There's Buddhism, there's Jainism, and there's Hinduism that talks about karma. Now everybody is talking about karma, so much so that I think karma is now in the English Oxford Dictionary. But even the many Buddhist understanding of the karma, especially the way I hear from Southeast Asia, I'm hearing a very Hindu or Jain oriented interpretation. So this is quite an important subject what you are discussing, what you are bringing up, because in Buddhism, because the way your question is a very important question, because your question is indicating that karma is fixed. Whereof, remember, karma is fixed. In order to experience, you create a cause and condition, then you have to go through that experience, otherwise there is no way out. Then you are stuck with it, basically. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to go through that consequences. Now this is more of a Hindu, and not all the Hindus, by the way. I think certain schools of Hindus, certain schools of Jainism, I think they talk like that. In Buddhism, and especially in Mahayana Buddhism, it's absolutely not true. Because this monk, I'm now going back to your example, this monk, he can actually exhaust his karma by becoming monk and continue becoming monk and even dedicate the merit for exhaustion of this girl's karma without needing to marry or repay his kindness. So, because if you don't assert that, because we have to be careful here, because then you will end up asserting predestined situation. If you believe in a predestined situation, it's quite dangerous, especially within the Buddhist philosophy. Now, I have to qualify this. Sometimes there are questions like, you see, karma is basically like cooking egg. Pot, water, fire, boil, cause, condition, no obstacle such as goat walking over it, then egg will be cooked. Even you say egg will not be cooked. Egg will be cooked. Right? Now your question is more like this. Your question is, egg is 99.99 cooked already. Now, this is difficult to reverse. Generally difficult. This is where we have to bring the tantric stuff. If you bring the tantric stuff, yes, even if 99.99.99 cooked, a tantric master can reverse everything. So this has to be like that. Otherwise, what's the point of practicing Vajrasattva? What's the point of, we have created so many bad karma in the past, we have to go through the consequences anyway, so might as well not practice anything. So this is actually very good that you brought it up. Thank you. Can you wait until tomorrow? Okay, why not? Yeah.
Because I think I may be the silliest student in this room. I found myself still don't know what is enlightenment. I know that I can Google from the definition from from internet, and it is beyond words. But could you be kindly give the definition for this class, because we're trying to let go or giving up all the attachment for enlightenment. So I really want to know what it is. Thank you.
What is enlightenment?
Yes.
Okay.
I can wait till tomorrow for the answer.
No. Actually, I'll try to answer this now in short, and then maybe we can discuss this, especially during the fourth point. We will be discussing about the fourth point. Okay. Okay, very simple. Enlightenment is when you are not a sucker of the logic of 4 plus 4 is 8. That's it, because we are all sucker of this logic. Enlightened being is not a sucker of this logic, plus a lot of other things.
Crazy people are also out of that.
Who?
Crazy people are also out of that.
Oh, very good. Excellent. Very, very good. Actually, at glance I would say an ordinary person, and very ordinary person, deluded being like me, looking at a crazy person, and a Telopa, or a Virupa, or Narupa, can't tell difference.
So how can we...
Because you know what is the word definition of crazy people? Is those who are not a sucker of a conventional truth. And if you want to be the follower of the conventional truth, yes, then in fact these Telopa or Narupa or Virupa thinks that all those people who are sucker of 4 plus 4 is 8, they are crazy. They just can't understand why you have to suck into this.
But I think for most of the students here, we are still living in the worldly life, and we have to cope with the worldly rule, and to remember 4 plus 4 is 9. So how to...
But this is very good. See? Most of us, we have to remember that 4 plus 4 is not really 8. It's neither 9. No, definitely not 1. But for the conventional sake, we will use it. That's what we call skillful means. We have to get along with the people.
I think so. We need to learn how to survive in this world.
Of course.
World with the enlightened mind.
Yes. Chandrakirti has stated this long term. Never ever. Never ever we should destroy or refute what is conventionally accepted. Never. Buddha, if you ask him what is 4 plus 4, he will say 8. But, there's a great scholar. He is the best, actually, in the contemporary Tibetan scholars. He is my hero. He's called Gendin Chakal. He is really good. He said, everything, for instance, if a terrorist come and point a gun at you and say, okay, lady, you have to say this wall is red, otherwise I'm going to kill you. You will say it's red, even though you don't mean it. He said all the Buddha's teachings are just like that. All sentient beings are coming with a gun of suffering. And then Buddha had to say all kinds of things. Okay, this is blue, this is red. Yes? He is really good.
Thank you.